Hi, this is Les Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. I've been on the Heisman Trophy selection committee for about the past 10 years. One would think that the opening favorite would win most years, but that's not always the case. This year's odds-on favorite was Clemson's Trevor Lawrence. Not anymore. As long as there's not a major injury or the season is canceled, the favorite for this year is Ohio State's quarterback Justin Fields. And if that happens, they won't need a recount. We've got Bud Shaw here tonight. More Sports and Les Levine is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les Levine, it's a Monday night. It's a brand new week. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les Levine, which, of course, is powered by cleveland.com. Tonight is Monday. That means Bud Shaw is here, and we're just waiting until Devin from Concord calls in for his regular shift. What time is he checking in tonight, do you know?
He usually waits till about 5:45, I think.
Oh, okay.
That seems to be his MO. He waits till later in the show because he knows he's such a highlight. He doesn't want the show to reach a crescendo too early.
Right. Good move on his part. So don't forget to vote tomorrow. Oh no, that's wrong week.
That was last week.
Yeah. All right. So what's
I'm
new?
already giving this show an 8.0.
Oh, the question is who's? Oh, all right. That's not an individual prize. That's a team.
No,
a participation trophy.
Yeah, it's a projection of what I think the show is.
So when we get to 8.1, just let us know, and then we're out of here.
We'll back it down a little bit.
Yeah.
All right.
Other than Baker Mayfield, we're kind of hoping he doesn't get caught again. Not caught, but doesn't want to get a second positive opinion here on the COVID. This team's in trouble. Some people would say they're in trouble anyway, but they're really in trouble if he can't make a go of it.
Yeah, obviously him and Myles Garrett are the two guys that would have to should be kept in a bubble the rest of the year. They'll get some guys back this week that clearly should help them in the run game. Nick Chubb looks like he's on track to come back. So does Wyatt Teller, Austin Hooper. So, they have some things going for them. They were playing a little bit down from a talent standpoint for a couple of weeks. And now we see them play some teams that we think that they will probably be favored to beat over the next few weeks. So these are important games for them.
Speaking of teams that you're playing, watching yesterday, Baltimore and Pittsburgh, they looked like average teams yesterday.
Yeah, especially Pittsburgh. I watched most of that game last night. I came away with the feeling that they believed that they were every bit as good as their 7-0 record, and thought that they could just run out there and cruise to another win. So it was pretty interesting to see Garrett Gilbert play as well as he did, and the Steelers were really fortunate to win that game in the end.
And you forget how many people have trooped through here to try to get that quarterback job, and then when you actually see them, they look. You see what somebody saw in them to get them here.
Yeah, and often you say, I wonder what they saw in the guys that were playing ahead of them.
Right.
We know during those years they weren't so good. Now he was a Mayfield guy, right? He was playing behind Baker.
Yes.
So that one was understandable, but when you think of some of the quarterbacks that came through here and went elsewhere and were really never heard from again, that seems to be more the trend than the other way around.
Yeah. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can email us during the show at reallesLevine@gmail.com. Bud Shaw is with us. Mary Kay Cabot tomorrow night. Dennis Manilop will be here on Wednesday. So just to square things up here on what they found and didn't find with Baker Mayfield, he apparently came in contact with a staff member who had tested positive. We don't know anything different than that, do we?
No, that's all that we know at this point. And that's a lot better than hearing that your starting quarterback is tested positive, because at that point, then you're gonna lose him for a certain period of time, even if he's asymptomatic. So sounds very precautionary, and I applaud the league for doing that,
Now, Nick Chubb was
especially
designated.
during a time of.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying, especially during a time of year when we know that the numbers are up all across the country and
Right.
the virus is spiking again.
Well, as you mentioned earlier, Nick Chubb was designated for a return from the IR. He could play on Sunday. I get the feeling they're not making a big deal about this. They're making a bigger deal about other situations, and Nick Chubb's kind of on the back burner here. Do you think there's some strategic reason that's being done?
No, I don't think the Texans. I don't think you can pull the wool over their eyes about Nick Chubb. I mean, I think it's just part of his personality and his persona that he doesn't, he doesn't attract a lot of praise and a lot of accolades when in fact he might be the best running back in the league right now.
Yeah, you take a
I
look at that by the numbers. Browns averaging 204 rushing yards when Chubb plays, and they average almost 100 per game when he doesn't play. So that's, if you believe in numbers, that's it pretty clearly.
Yeah, I know Kevin Stefanski wants to see how these guys respond after practicing for a day or two since they've been out for so long. I think that the biggest difference and listen, they're 5-3, so it's not like they fell apart with him not on the field. But I just think their offense is exactly what Kevin Stefanski wants it to be when Nick Chubb is on the field. He wants to be run first. It'll be a little easier to be that right now with Odell Beckham Jr. out. And I think if he's healthy and if it's not this week and it happens a week from now, I think this is a guy that's going to show the way again as to why they decided that they wanted to make this the point of their offense.
Look at this stat here. Chubb leads the NFL with 6 runs of 20 or more yards. So that, you talk about big chunks. That's big chunks right there.
Yeah, he's a guy. I mean, I don't follow some of the the more advanced stats that much, and probably should. But certainly, the equivalent of yards after catch, yards after being hit for the first time. He was, I think, around the top of the league last year, and I'm sure will be for every season that he's healthy enough to play.
216-575-0403. Bud Shaw is with us. You can follow us on Facebook. You can respond to our questions. We post a question in the morning. You post answers all day long. We get it on the show once the 6 o'clock show Eastern time begins. And that's every day here, powered by cleveland.com. We'll take a break. We'll come on back in a moment. Lots to get to tonight. And we'll talk a little baseball also. We'll do that and more when we get back. More Sports and Les Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Do you like Ohio State football? Would you like to get information from me, Doug Lesmerises, about Ohio State football without having to look at my face? We have got the plan for you. Become an Ohio State text subscriber through cleveland.com. You send a text, 614-350-3315. What do you get? 2, 3, 4 texts right in your phone every day about Ohio State football. Inside information, polls, voting, all kinds of things. You can be on our podcast. We take text subscriber questions on our Buckeye Talk podcast every week. If you really want to be involved with Ohio State football, in season or out of season, become an Ohio State text subscriber from cleveland.com. Send a text to 614-350-3315. 14-day free trial. What do you have to lose? $3.99 a month after that. 614-350-3315. I'll see you in your phone.
Tri-C is here for you. Now more than ever, you need a post-secondary education. So I encourage you to start your journey here at Tri-C. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, Tri-C is where futures begin.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Hi, welcome back to More Sports and Les Levine. Les, but during the 2020 offseason, 5 NFL teams made changes at head coach. Of those 5 NFL head coaches, the only one that has a winning record right now is Kevin Stefanski at 5-3. The other 4 have a combined record of 9-26. Pete Smith of Sports Illustrated broke down Kevin Stefanski so far this season. He says, for all it takes about the roster and individual players, the most important might be that Kevin Stefanski has not only proved himself a capable head coach in the NFL, but is better than at least half the league. Despite being a rookie head coach in a unique season due to COVID-19, the situation has never been too big for Stefanski, and there is yet to be a point where he's made a truly bad strategic decision. Nobody thinks of Stefanski as a rookie coach or a coach trying to learn while on the job anymore. The reality is he will continue to evolve and improve. For now, the focus for Stefanski is making the playoffs, which is an impressive feat, even with the amount of talent the Browns have on their roster, as well as what has become a forgiving schedule. So, Les, Bud, when you look at Kevin Stefanski so far with what he's done with the Browns, what stands out for you the most?
A lack of chaos.
Yeah, that's a good one, Les. I mean, that's certainly something that jumps out at you. You know, I looked when I talked to Brian a little earlier today and knew that we were going to discuss Stefanski. I looked at the most penalized teams in the league, and last year the Browns were the 4th most penalized team in the league. This time they're not, as high as I thought they would be. They're in the low 20s out of 32 or whatever. But it's part of what has impressed me is that you don't see them sabotaging themselves through stupid mistakes, through illegal motion calls, through face masks very often, through dumb plays where they get a personal foul penalty after a play is already over. Those are the kinds of things that happened under Freddie last year, and I think that's been an improvement. Now, the other thing I think he's done is he's taken a team that didn't have a lot of time together in the exhibition season, and he's established an identity, and he did it in the first couple weeks of the season. We're going to be a run-centric team with an offensive line that he's going to challenge to move the defensive line and keep picking up first downs. And I think until the Chubb injury, they were clearly on their path to maybe leading the league in rushing.
I'm wondering if Freddie Kitchens were still here and the season played out this way, if there would be columns like that where he's that good and it's a talent-filled team for a new coach. And I'm wondering if people would think that if Freddie was still coaching here.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I do think what Pete said, I generally agree with. I do think that what distinguishes him from those other 5 coaches might be the talent that he has inherited, because I still thought this was a more talented team than it showed last year. But I think it's clearly a guy who knew where he wanted to go as a head coach when he coached his first game. And I think a lot of these other guys have been feeling their way around. And maybe there'll be other bigger challenges for him to face in the future. I don't always assume that if a guy shows himself to be a good organized head coach in the first 8 games, that means he's going to have a 10-year career as a head coach in this league.
No, I don't think there's any study on that. However, the Browns, of course, with the bye week now, and now they're getting ready to take on Houston. In the next 3 games, you look at the schedule and the standings. You should be happy with it. You go with Houston with the first game this Sunday. Houston comes in with a record of 2 wins and 6 losses. Then you've got Philadelphia, who's kind of a strange team in that they were expected to do well, then they didn't. Now they're back up again, so you don't know what you're going to get. Philadelphia at 3-4-1, and then there's Jacksonville, who's been almost playing out the string from the beginning of the season. They come in at 1-7. You got to win all 3 games, don't you?
Yeah, you would think. And I mean, and think about Jacksonville, Les. They won their first game. They beat the Colts. They beat the Colts in the season opener. So they're now 6 wins into it, and we know how those kind of streaks can weigh a team down.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think that this is really critical. If you win these 3, you're 8-3. If you lose one of them, you're still 7-4. And I know you have Pittsburgh, and I know you have Baltimore. I can't remember. There's Tennessee.
Tennessee. Yeah, there you see the standings right now.
Win at Tennessee. But other than that, I still think they're on track to make the playoffs. And that would be a huge first step for a head coach that faced a lot of challenges, COVID-related.
All right, so the Steelers come in this week now at 8-0. They could have gotten beaten against Dallas over the weekend. They didn't. They held them off. It's interesting. The Chiefs, to me, don't seem to be playing that well, and yet they've only had 1 loss. What am I missing? I'm just I'm just reminded that they were the Super Bowl winner.
Yeah, I just think that we've become a little numb to how great that quarterback is there. And even when the rest of the team doesn't look real impressive, he seems to make enough plays for them to keep winning. I don't think they've had the toughest schedule. I'd have to look back at who they've played. But hey, you know what? You can say that about any team that's winning games. You know, you can find soft spots on their schedule.
All right, the Bills seem to be playing, depending on the week and who they're playing, they come up with surprises almost every week. Then you've got the Ravens at 6-2, and as I said, I didn't think they played very well over the weekend. Raiders 5-3, the Dolphins 5-3, the Browns at 5-3, and you just wonder if that loss to the Raiders is going to come back and haunt them somewhere along the line. And the Colts took the loss yesterday; they are back at 5-3.
Well, we know the league, I believe, is going to talk tomorrow about contingencies, that if some meaningful games are postponed for COVID, they may vote to expand the playoffs to 8 teams in each conference, at which point the Browns are at least poised right now to edge out the Colts because of their head-to-head win. So, I mean, I still think they're going to be around that, that 6-7 spot in the playoff format. And I think even if they don't go to an extra team in the playoffs, that the Cleveland Browns are going to make the playoffs this season.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Hey, did you get a chance to watch the Ohio State game against Rutgers?
Not much of it at all, no.
Greg Schiano's the coach there, and he had been with the defensive coordinator at Ohio State. And just watching the game, it looked like he knew he couldn't win because he knew how much talent Ohio State had, but he just wanted to play games with Ryan Day and throw, you name a trick play, and he used it. And I think it was more of a situation where he's saying, okay, I can't beat you head to head, but let's have some fun with this game. So if you didn't see it, you can't respond, but that's the sense I got. And by the way, Ohio State's good.
Yeah, they're very good. And I think we saw it a little bit in the Cowboys Steelers game, that's the approach coaches take when they know they're outmanned. If they can get a defense, thinking, confused, back on their heels, not sure what's going to come next. Now, I think there's a big difference between doing that, Les, and calling a Hail Mary pass from your own end zone, which we have seen happen in Cleveland before too.
Way too many times. If it happened once, that's way too many times.
Exactly. Yeah.
216-575-0403. Bud Shaw is with us. Mary Kay Cabot tomorrow night. Then Dennis Maniloff will be here on Thursday. Browns getting ready to take on Houston. Their record is 2-6 coming into this game. Let's take a break. We'll come back in a moment. I want to tell you about Northeast Factory Direct. 3 locations. Check them out. Equal savings in each one. West 140th Street, as well as Lakeland Boulevard and Freeway Drive. That's in Macedonia. And check out the website, northeastfactorydirect.com. Bud Shaw and I return in a moment as we continue with our friends at cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone garage floor. No more tripping on cracked, uneven concrete. Stop slipping on puddles and standing water. It's the safer, more beautiful garage floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your garage floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Hi, welcome back to More Sports and Les Levine. Last week, Bob Nightingale of USA Today reported that the Indians are expected to trade Francisco Lindor before opening day. Now, John Morosi of MLB Network has a possible destination. He says, I expect Francisco Lindor to be dealt this offseason, as Bob Nightingale has reported, but I was told a trade is unlikely to happen quickly. However, the Indians would love for the Mets to be heavily involved, but it will take time for their new front office to set up priorities. So, who could the Indians possibly get from the Mets in a Francisco Lindor trade? Here's a couple options. First one, you got Ahmed Rosario, who is their shortstop right now. He's 24 years old. He's played 4 MLB seasons. Last year, in the short season, he had a 252 average, 4 home runs, and 15 RBIs. Now, for a more accurate representation of a full season, look at 2019, he hit 287, hit 15 home runs, 72 RBIs, and 19 stolen bases. However, one problem he has right now is his defense. You see on the bottom there, he's got 17 errors at shortstop in 2019. Another guy who is a young prospect, he made his first MLB debut in 2020, Andres Jimenez. He's 22 years old. In 2020, he hit 263, 3 home runs and 12 RBIs, 8 stolen bases in 49 games, and he had 2 errors at shortstop in 2020. Now, a couple other options. The Indians are in need of outfield help. One guy that a couple sites have listed as a possible option for the Indians is Brandon Nimmo. He's 27 years old. He's played in 5 MLB seasons. Now, last year he hit 280, 8 home runs, and 18 RBIs in 55 games. Now, for a more accurate representation of a full season, in 2018, he had 263, 17 home runs, and 47 RBIs. He missed some time in 2019 due to a neck injury. Now, another guy, he's an outfielder and a third baseman, but he's played more third base last year, J.D. Davis. 27 years old, 4 MLB seasons. In 2020, he hit 247, but in 2019, he hit 307, 22 home runs, and 57 RBIs. One issue he's had as well is defense. He had 5 errors at third base in 2020. So, Bud, looking at options for an Indians trade for Francisco Lindor, what would you like to see the Indians get in return for him?
But there's a couple of things that stand out on Brian's fine report there. And that is, you're talking about Rosario, who had legitimate big league numbers. But if you're the Indians with that pitching staff and basically assuming you're going to have a good staff and that'll be the best part of your team, you can't have a shortstop with 17 or 18 errors.
No, you certainly can't. What concerns me about some of the guys on that list, Les, is, and I don't know where they rank as far as the top prospects in the Mets organization, but if you're trading Francisco Lindor, you have to get the top prospect in somebody's organization, do you not?
Yes.
And, I don't know those outfielders all that well. Maybe you followed the National League a little closer. But 27 years old and, haven't really established themselves as big league, productive hitters.
Yeah, that's
Not that some of those numbers weren't productive. I don't mean it that
yeah,
way.
no, but you're right.
Really-
Those numbers stick out.
Yeah, I mean, you need to get impact players back from him for him, and I don't think there's any doubt that they're going to trade him. I mean, we know what the financial hit this organization and other markets took. All markets took, but other markets were maybe better positioned to handle it. There's no doubt he's going to get traded, but if I were them, I wouldn't be in a hurry. I'd want teams and organizations bidding against each other.
Right. Well, two things. Brian pointed out that the Mets have a new organization, so maybe you can get somebody could slip by if that's possible. Maybe I don't know what they're keeping over from what the new guys know about the old guys they had there. The other thing is that a new team sort of has popped into the. I don't know if you've heard it, but I've heard a couple of things. The Toronto Blue Jays might be interested. The ultimate revenge for Mark Shapiro.
Yeah, that would make some sense. That you got guys like Antonetti and Shapiro who have a really good relationship and who probably know each other's talent pretty well. And I would start with looking at the top ranked farm systems in baseball, and those are the teams that I want to talk. And I realize, listen, I'm not saying that you can get, you can only get AA or single A players who might be higher ranked for Francisco Lindor. I think you do need to balance that and get some top prospects and also get some players that can help you, in the next couple years.
Yeah, I think this is textbook. I think you need for Lindor. And by the way, I think some fans have turned on him a little bit. Obviously, every fan wants him to be here, but I hear a lot of people complaining about his lack of productivity with the game on the line or with runners in scoring position. Nothing different with his defense, but I think it weighed on. I think this whole thing weighed on him heavily last year. But so it'll be interesting to see what he does. But I think that it's textbook that you need, if you're trading for Lindor, I think you need 4 players at least. One of them has to be a legitimate major league player today. Doesn't have to be an all-star, but he has to be a legitimate player. And I'm thinking in terms of an outfielder. Then you need a second player who can play every day if needed. Then you go to the prospect list and you get the first or second highest rated guy in the organization, and then maybe the 5th or 6th. I think that's the way you break it down in an ideal situation.
Yeah, I think you need to come out of it with some guys that you can plug into the lineup, but also you come out of it with a Grady Sizemore, a guy you can put in the outfield and hopefully in a couple years' time and hope that he's there for 5 or 7 years.
Yeah, they clearly didn't know how good Grady Sizemore was going to be. They had 3 guys at the end of the list, and one was a throw-in, and it turned out to be Grady Sizemore.
Yeah, well, that happened with the Matt Laporta deal too, did it not? I thought that he was the centerpiece of that deal.
Yeah, but remember that was in the World Baseball Classic, and he got hit in the head. Do you think that changed his way of playing the game?
To look back at that, even while I bring it up, I'm still not sure of the details. I just think this. I think if from a PR hit standpoint, we all know what they faced just in thinking about trading Francisco Lindor. I think after this past season, this is probably a time that they can trade him and not get hammered the way they would have a year ago. Both because of his production and big moments last year was down, and also because I think everybody knows that the COVID-19 has created a real special circumstance and a real special hardship for the Dolan family. So if it's one thing for Frankie Lindor to say, hey, they can afford me, their team is worth $1 billion. But we all know that, the only way you can get money is to sell this team. And that doesn't exactly help in the short term when you need capital to run it. And I don't think keeping him would make a lot of sense right now, given where they are financially.
Right now at Smiley One, they're making it easy to invest in a new heating or cooling comfort system without breaking your budget. For a limited time, take advantage of the special financing for 36 months and on select Bryant high-efficiency equipment. They make it easy for your family to stay comfortable all year long. Call Smiley One for more details. We are powered by cleveland.com. Bud Shaw with us. Mike Masetta will be joining us also. We'll find out what he's got up his sleeves besides not floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone. We'll do that when we get back. More sports and less Levine. Right here at powered by cleveland.com.
We're living in uncertain times, but you don't have to put your future on hold. At Tri-C, you can move ahead while staying safe and saving money. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, check out Tri-C's programs and resources, because Tri-C is where futures begin.
Well, hello everyone. Let me tell you a little bit about Brown's Football Insider. For only $3.99 a month, you can get texts sent right to your phone each day from me, Dan Lobby, Scott Pasco, and Ellis Williams. In addition to that, you'll receive a Football Insider newsletter every day with special things from us, things that you won't see anywhere else on the site. You'll get breaking news, analysis, features, film breakdown, and things like that. Texting us directly gives you a great chance to cut through the clutter of Facebook, Twitter, other social media, and avoid the trolls. Also, it's the only way to get your questions on the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. So why should you sign up? Try a 14-day free trial. You can cancel at any time. All it takes is one text, but you won't want to cancel. We have hundreds of subscribers join us over the last year. They love it and have stayed with us. We're seeing the Football Insider community grow every week. And it's only $3.99 a month, which is less than 14 cents a day. What I like most about Football Insider is the opportunity to connect with you one-on-one and really communicate with you. So how can you become a Football Insider? You can click on cleveland.com/Browns, the blue banner at the top of the page. Or easier yet, text me at 216-208-3965. Again, that's 216-208-3965.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at smiley1.com.
This date in sports history, 1989, the Milwaukee Bucks defeat the Seattle Supersonics. Look at that score, 155 to 154 in 5 overtimes, marking the longest game since the shot clock was introduced. Wow. Wonder what the spread was. Anybody know? Whitey Herzog was born on this date, 1931. Bob Gibson, who just passed away recently, born one of the toughest competitors you'll ever find. Adam Zappel, 1947. Chad Oj, Adam Dunn, and Kyle Rudolph, all born on this date. In 2020, that is November 9th is the date we're talking about. Let's go to the phones. Bud Shaw is with us, so is Mike Masetta. Mike, what are you doing? You looking for floor?
I'm never looking for floor unless I've got Nature Stone.
Wow.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
So if you don't have a floor or Nature Stone, how do people get around your house?
Yeah, that's a good question. They use a lot of bikes.
Bud Shaw is with us. What's new in your world, Mike?
Oh, just we finally got past this election. You know, whether Democrat or Republican, don't care. It's just happy that it's over, and hopefully it actually is over. So that would be nice.
It's something. We know it's something. We're not sure if it's over,
yeah.
but we know it's something.
it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next month or so. But I think that was something that everybody was looking forward to, and it certainly did not disappoint. And I think that we've got some Browns games coming up here, and Ohio State's playing real well, so that's a good thing.
You know, I'm thinking, Mike, following some retail people who are doing this, you might want to give like a free Nature Stone product to all the people who voted for each candidate. 75 million here, 75 million there.
I'm shocked. You know, I mean, it's a heck of a turnout and a heck of a testament to America to come out and vote that way. But my goodness, over 150 million voters. That's most in history, and population is great for that. So
all right, now we're back to
stuff.
We're back to the important stuff. Cleveland Browns football, and they play Sunday against Houston. Of course, we don't know yet about Baker Mayfield. The Browns don't seem too concerned about this. Are you?
Well, of course I am. You know, I think that Baker has been playing really well, and certainly, you know, we want him to be healthy, and not just for him to play on Sunday, but just in general as a human being. You know, we don't want him to be sick or have to suffer through any type of COVID situation.
By the way, so far we don't know that it's him. He came in. What we do know is he came in contact with somebody. But you're absolutely right.
Yeah. So we don't know the results yet, but you know, pray that he's fine. You know, from a human standpoint, and then from a football standpoint, you know, obviously with the way he's been playing in recent games, we'd like to keep him on the field. That being said, I mean, the Browns have to remain positive and optimistic, right? I mean, they can't call doom and gloom just because, you know, they have an injury. They've had injuries all season. They've been able to get to 5-3 at the bye week, even with those injuries. And now, if Baker's out, he's out. But a lot of other guys are now healthy. Chubb, Hooper, and some of their defenders. So that's a big plus for this team, and I think that'll help them big time going into the second half.
Well, Bud and I had talked earlier about the fact you've got 6 games left in the regular season, and it looks like 3 in a row that are winnable and 3 in a row that are questionable.
Yes, yeah. The first 3, particularly starting this week, are all winnable games. But I thought the game against Oakland, funny, tricky game with the weather and so forth, but the game itself should have been a winnable game. And you know, they didn't play real well as a team, and they ended up losing that game at home, which was not a good thing. But yeah, now they've got 3 more in a row. You know, with the Texans and a couple other teams coming up that they should be able to beat. It would be nice if they could win these 3 and get themselves to 8-3. You know, heading into the final stretch run there, because I think that should be enough to get them to the playoffs.
All right, let's go around the room here. Bud, do they make the playoffs this year?
Yeah, I think the other thing we have to remember, Wes, is that in addition to the next 3 games, they still also have the Giants and Jets on their schedule.
Right.
Not that those are going to be walkovers. There's really no such thing.
Giants actually playing pretty well lately.
Yeah, as Tampa found out, right, against New Orleans, you look really good and think that you're one of the top teams in a conference, and then find yourself down 31-0 in a game. So, but I like the fact that they have 5 games left against teams that I think they'll be favored to beat in each of those situations.
All right, Mike, what do you think they'll be favored against Pittsburgh and Baltimore?
No, 5 games that they will be favored.
Oh, okay. Out of the 8, yeah.
Texans, Eagles, Jaguars, Giants, and Jets.
Right. Mike, do they make the playoffs?
Yeah, I think they do. It is going to be tough, though, because they're in a division where there's 2 teams both ahead of them. So they're not going to win the division. They're going to have to make it as a wild card, and they're not going to. At least it doesn't look like they're going to win the first wild card. So it's going to have to be the second wild card, and so that's going to make it a little bit more difficult. But that being said, I think that they have enough wins on their schedule now, like Bud was saying, with 5 left. And matchups are tough in the NFL. Sometimes, a team may just be a bad matchup for another team because of how they get defended or whatever else, athletically or however it ends up working out. even though the records are not wouldn't indicate that the matchup itself is. So you never know what's going to happen. But assuming they win those 5 games, I'm anxious to see if they do win those 5 games, how they end up playing against Pittsburgh and Baltimore
Right.
the second time around. You know, now they've seen them, they know what to expect. Those teams are the only 2 teams that really handled the Browns so far, and rightfully so. One team's undefeated, and the other team's one of the top teams in the league with a top-notch quarterback as well.
Yeah.
So
And the other
that'll
thing
be
is,
interesting.
if they play one of those, I mean, if they do make the playoffs, most likely they'll be playing one of those teams in the first round.
You would think, yes, because they would be the wild card, and certainly Pittsburgh looks like they're going to be the number 1 seed. So if they're the lowest wild card, they would have to play Pittsburgh.
All right, Mike.
In the second round.
Have a great week. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
Hey, thanks for the time, guys. Wow, it's
Hey,
Nature
Mike.
Stone.
Hey, he knows that pretty well. It sounds like he's done that before. All right, Bud, we're going to take a break and come on back. We found out what Mike is thinking. Northeast Factory Direct, we know what they're thinking. 3 great locations. Check them out, or northeastfactory.com. More sports and less Levine, powered by cleveland.com. Bud will have his ratings soon. No, we're not talking about the NFL. We're talking about this show and quickies, if we have any. Back in a moment, powered by cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone basement floor. Add more livable space, inhibit the growth of mold and mildew, and improve air quality for your family. It's the healthier, more beautiful basement floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your basement floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions, or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Time from one of our staff's How Come Quickies. How come every television show on every station is entitled Breaking News? Bud, any idea how that happens?
It's the time of season, Les.
Oh, okay. Hey, Devin and Concord is standing by, but let's talk a little football here, because I think this is going to be one of the more interesting playoff format that we've had. Right now, Alabama's sitting in at 6-0, Notre Dame at 7-0, Ohio State at 3-0, Clemson 7-1, Texas A&M 5-1, Florida is 4-1, and Cincinnati sneaks in at 6-0. They're number 7. BYU, Florida, Miami, Florida, and Indiana. Indiana won't be undefeated much past the time they tee it off against Ohio State. But interesting matchups, Bud. If you're talking about Alabama, you're talking about Notre Dame and Ohio State, should be fun.
Yeah, I got to say, though, I think the only team that as a Buckeye fan should be worried about is Clemson on there. I really believe that. If Trevor Lawrence is healthy, and we suspect he will be, I'm going to go with the 2 teams that have quarterbacks that are going to go in the top 5 in the draft, and that's what I think we'll see with Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence.
You assuming both Clemson and Notre Dame will make it? Yeah,
I mean, I think Clemson will. I think you have to, so they lost the game to Notre Dame without their starting quarterback. I don't know that I'm going to hold that against them
No,
too
and a
much.
bunch of overtimes in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a fabulous finish. It was really a great reason to love college football. And I've gotten the privilege of covering a couple games over there. One was when Matt Leinart was with USC and Brady Quinn with Notre Dame, and that was the Reggie Bush game where they pushed him into the end zone, and it was a fabulous scene out there. It was really a great place to watch college football.
Let's go to Concord. We'll say hi to Devin. Hello, Devin.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Meet Bud Shaw.
I told you he would call at
Hey,
6:55.
so you were the jinx at that Notre Dame game, the Bush.
That's right. I said you would call at 6:45. I know you can't see my time on my phone, but I was right.
Oh, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the record.
Wow.
I said he always
that's
calls
cool.
at
So
6:45. He knows that's going to be the crescendo show.
It's not a floor. It's Devin from Concord.
Yeah. There you go.
Hey,
Wow.
It's like the Costanza, always go out on top, right?
That's right. Yeah. Good night, everybody.
Yeah. Hey, Les, you do something new to the do? You got a little coif working today. You got a little new hair dryer at home, or what's going on?
No, we're on top, the left side, right side. Where are we?
Yeah, you're kind of, You should kind of calm down a little bit more.
Some guy threw a snowball at me.
more.
We don't have any snow here. I'll check on it.
moderate.
I'll check on it. I'll come back and I'll redo the show.
Yeah. Hey, before I get to the Brownies, those Mets players that they were saying that might be available, I mean, wow. I mean, come on. If they're going to get any of those guys. And then, is your boy Santana going to be here next year?
It doesn't look like it. I mean, there's nobody that's going to offer him $10 million, I wouldn't think. He made 17 last year. And he's my boy now? But how do you qualify to get a boy like that?
I don't know. It's an ever-changing list with Devin.
It's his Keith Hernandez like vacuum at the first base that makes me so happy, right?
Well, they figure they have
Speaking
enough
of boys-
defensive guys. They all win Gold Gloves now. They don't need it at every position.
I know. Hey, speaking of boys, Bud, your boy Wentz. Now, do they like him in Philly, or do they not like him?
I can't tell, to tell you the truth. I think they're starting to lose.
You can't tell because you
Well,
don't
because it
want
goes
to?
to the game. He plays so poorly early in these games,
Yeah.
and I have family still living back there, and some members of my family want to forgive him because he's throwing to practice squad wide receivers, and they've had so many injuries. But I've seen him take sacks, and he did it last week.
I'm wondering about Chicago with Trubisky now. They took him out, and now they haven't had good quarterback play since. I'm wondering if they're ready to toss him back in for the remainder of the season.
I think so. I mean, what are you going to go with Nick Foles for the rest of the year and think and they're a paper tiger record. They're not a very good team, I don't think, with a better record than they deserve.
Right.
Yeah. Foles is that classic guy that comes in. He comes in relief, and he gets hot, and he's 12 of 15. He throws for 3 touchdowns.
And they're not prepared for him.
Yeah. But you guys are talking about the Browns winning the next 3. The only thing that scares me is Watson and Wentz in our defense. I could see our defense just not stopping either of those guys.
Well, then if that defense can't stop those guys, they don't deserve to be at the top.
Well, they're not.
Only force 1 punt in 2 games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a remarkable stat that there's been 1 punt in their last 2 games, and that just tells you they can't stop anybody right now.
And I disagree with that. I think that's done on purpose because they know they don't have a good punt return team.
Oh, is that it? That's quite a strategy.
And then
I'm not predicting they're going to win the next 3, Devin. I'm just saying that's you got teams that you should be favored against. That's all. But I agree with you. I think Watson in particular is going to cause them a lot of trouble. And I know he holds the ball too long, and so does Wentz. So both of those teams are going to have to figure out a way to block Myles Garrett while their quarterbacks decide what to do with the ball. But they're still pretty dangerous.
Yeah, and we've been harping on it all year about how analytics they just doesn't seem to like linebackers. And when you watch that Raiders game, if there ever was a need for a linebacker on the team, it was that game. I mean, They just ran it right at us, right up the. I mean, just Ole defense.
Hi, Kevin. Kevin, we got to Devin.
It's Devin.
I know it's Devin. Devin, I gotta go. How's this look?
Yeah, it looks good, Larry. You and Fonzie.
Yeah. I met Fonzie. He's like 5'6".
Is that right?
Oh, really?
Well, I met him when he was 4. No.
No, he's about as tall as Devin's boy, Johnny Manziel.
Yeah. All right, so everybody has boys here
Fonzie,
tonight.
Hey, did you and Fonzie jump the shark together?
Yeah, we did. I gotta go. I have a haircut appointment.
See you, Devin.
Thanks,
Later.
Devin and Kevin. All right, we'll take a break. We're going to come back, take a look at Mr. Gullible, who sent something in. The voicemail of Truth and Reason. You can call us if we're not on the air at the time. We come on the air at 6 to 7 Eastern Time, p.m. But if you can't reach us at that time, you got us at 216-200-6650. 216-200-6650. We'll come back in a moment. Thanks to Devin in Concord. Thanks to Bud Shaw. Thanks to Brian, for that matter. Back in a moment. We are powered by cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone garage floor. No more tripping on cracked, uneven concrete. Stop slipping on puddles and standing water. It's the safer, more beautiful garage floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your garage floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Tomorrow night, Mary Kay Cabot, cleveland.com, and the Plain Dealer joins us. You see us Monday through Thursday, actually, from 6 until 7 Eastern Time, 6 until 7 p.m. And then you've got Weekend Winners with Dave Bacon coming up on Friday nights. All right, time for some How Come Quickies. Hey, Bud, I got 2 here from Mr. Gullible, so if you just give him a 1 point on either one of these, he'll win for the evening.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, he's running unopposed.
He's running. Yes, he's running unopposed, and he's stuffing the ballot box with 2 entries.
Okay.
How come when I told my doctor, when I look in the mirror every morning and feel sick, he said, well, your eyesight is perfect? You know, I think he's getting a little long on these. They seem to have the same cadence. What do you got? Can't say because 8.0? Oh, 4.0.
Yeah.
Well, if he's got 2 entries, that'll be an 8.0.
Yeah, it was too long.
I think that they're getting into a kind of a certain rhythm. Mr. Gullible comes in with this one. How come I come from a family of failed magicians? I have 2 half-sisters.
Okay, now we're talking. 8.0. I did not see it coming.
I didn't either.
Thought
It's a little shorter.
and it's a little shorter.
Yeah.
As are the two half sisters at this point.
Okay, so the winner tonight is How Come I Come From a Family of Failed Magicians? I Have Two Half Sisters.
There you go.
What else would you like to add for the next 2.5 minutes? Can you tell I'm using my shot clock abilities here?
We knew when this season started that there were going to be COVID restrictions, COVID positive tests. I don't read a whole lot into it that Baker Mayfield is in this protocol, other than the fact that it's hard not to be associated or connected to somebody that tests positive in that kind of situation. So if it happened with a staffer and they're taking precautions, certainly, there's no reason to be too worried about it.
No,
but it
do
just
you
kind of
agree that the Browns didn't say anything since that happened? Do you agree with that's the way to handle it at this point?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's a league protocol too. But yeah, I agree that that's the way to handle it. But I think it just underscores the fact that we started thinking about this virus in March, and after some initial precautions where people really battened down and wore masks and didn't go out anywhere, we've all let our guard down all over the world, and I think that's part of the reason why it's spiking. The other part is that people are starting to spend more time indoors together. So I think it sends out the message to everyone that we need to really almost assume that the people you're around, that somebody may have it, and you need to try to protect yourself as best as possible.
And it's going to be tough coming up with Thanksgiving here and then Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely. I always thought that they would start the NFL season on time. I wasn't sure with the positivity rate and things that were happening in early summer that they would finish it. Overall, I think they've done a pretty good job, and I believe now that the season will finish on time.
Although, do you think tomorrow's when they may decide to put an extra team in the postseason?
I think they might have that kind of fallback position where if some meaningful games are missed, they may. And listen, baseball did some similar things with playoff format and putting a runner on second base, that kind of thing. I don't think in the end anybody looked back and said, "Oh, that completely ruined the game for them," or "It completely ruined the playoffs."
I think it did. I think people were expecting it to.
Yeah, I think they were, and I think we all do that with change. But if there's an extra team in the playoffs this year, or if all the teams in the playoffs haven't played a full 16-game schedule, I think people want to see playoff football, and if it can be done, in a safe way, I think that's all that really will resonate with people.
Great job as always by Bud Chubb. Bud, we'll see you next Monday night.
Okay, Les.
See you soon, and I'll see you tomorrow with Mary Kay Cabot, Wednesday with Dennis Manilow. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.